talk to the experts of the banking sector. Some they believe are working in a bank, and perhaps you've gone to school to study banking and finance, and things are not done right at the bank, and the collapse of the bank will result to the loss of your job. You must be able to work in such a way to stand firm. I quite remember some time ago, Intercity STC workers decided to cut off their salaries to sustain the company so that they can continue to have their job security and work with the company. Here, nobody is asking you to cut your salary, but to make sure that the right thing is done to sustain the company, we must find out whether the ordinary worker in these banks did something that results to the collapse of the bank, so that they will not get a sympathy from the ordinary Ghanaian, or the taxpayer whose money have been sunk and lost in today's deals.
Okay, so in respect of these,
also propose, as the Yoko have done, to Attorney General for prosecution. We in Parliament don't even have the prosecution powers, but we also have powers to sanction. We have power to sanction. We can ask the Attorney General to prefer charges against those involved and get them prosecuted. I was listening to somebody when he said somebody go to court.
I'm saying that because I'm looking at the timing. If yours is also, if by way of biting teeth, you are also going to
Yoko. But Parliament cannot say, based on the Yoko's investigation, ask Attorney General to go and do ABC.
First, to talk a bit about job security in all of this, and I'm reading from the front page of Economy Times. It says over 2,000 job losses hit the banking industry. It says here that based on this, there was an assessment that the employees were going to keep their job for 60 years upon evaluation.
60 days.
For 60 days, not 60 years, thank you. Upon evaluation from the new bank. But however, in a sudden new turn of events at the end of last week, all permanent staff of the 5 banks have had their appointments terminated. This means they would have to reapply, and if successful, will become new employed staff of the Consolidated Bank of Ghana.
There's one thing, basic thing that we have to understand, that these banks were going to collapse anyway, if not because of the central bank intervention. You see, we shouldn't create an impression that the banks collapse because central bank, that is Bank of Ghana, decided to emerge them. You see, when central bank saw that the banks were collapsing, central bank went in to support them by giving them more cash to sustain them. So if not because of central bank, they have much collapsed long ago. And this collapse of this bank will result in job loss of even more than the 2,000 workers that we are talking about.
The interesting thing is, there's a labor analyst here called Ben Arthur, who says that the Bank of Ghana and the 5 collapsed bank may the country.
The workers.
They're saying you should have prompted the workers at least 3 months prior to it, and also ensure some sort of safety net. So let me just quote him. He said, one key thing to do is not just to lay off. You look at wrong for them to not get it. Doesn't that say something about our labor laws?
Yeah, I'm not trying to throw the laws away. I'm not trying to say that the law is wrong or they shouldn't have support from the law. What I'm saying is that they were dying, and then some central bank came to their aid. Now the central bank has been able to survive you. So it is time they sit down with the central bank. As they've said, 2 months workers, the type of experts they employ, but of course this and all that. That is why the new bank is saying that let us give you 2 months. We are going to see whether indeed the number of staff that's being employed by this worker will still need you. 2, your skills, what you are trained to do, other will need you at the bank. After the 2 months, the bank, the consolidated, I think nobody is here to say that no, we are going to sack them. And even more so that we're going to be laid off. If the banks, the affected banks are actually not overstaffed, putting them together will still not overstaff the bank. Do you get my thing? Except at the senior most position, where we have 1 CEO. Instead of 6, we are going to have 1. So definitely the remaining 5 CEOs may be asked to go. But I don't think the bank or the consolidated bank will ask them to go home without going through the process, without giving them. I've read in one of the reports where they were demanding a lay-off package. Yeah. Definitely the Consolidated Bank will put some money by to go through the process and let them, if, and I'm saying if, they are going to lay some of them off, we'll go through the due process.
Okay.
So I don't think we need to jump the gun by.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now we have been joined by Sam George, who's the Member of Parliament for
about all the people who would possibly and most likely lose their jobs have members of Parliament. It's important that as the representatives of those people, one of the key things I would want to see a parliamentary probe look at may not necessarily be preferring of charges or culpability. I believe that that is the role and preserve of the law enforcement agencies and investigative agencies like IOCO and the police CID. I believe that what Parliament's focus should be in ensuring that our constituents who will be affected by the illegality as may be established by the investigative agencies and by a court of law, those who will be affected by that, who are our constituents, for whom we sit in Parliament, they must be protected. And what kind of protection can we give them? Ensuring that they get the right severance packages. I mean, it's been a year on. I mean, 2 days ago was a year since the collapse of Capital Bank and UT Bank. Many of the staff of Capital and UT Bank have still not been given a severance package. A severance package was agreed. It's one thing agreeing a severance package. It's another thing that severance package being paid to the people. I've seen stories on news portals from respected media houses of a manager of Capital Bank who now grills pork.
Yeah.
You understand me? I've picked an Uber and he was a branch manager of UT Bank. And now he's driving Uber. Because, I mean, that's all he has. There's a staff of Capital Bank who is selling his uncompleted house to pay rent. Because the house is not in a state where he can move in. And where he's staying with his family, the rent is due. The landlord is throwing them out. So he has to sell what had been a lifetime investment just for a short period of maybe 1 year, 2 years. After the 2 years, what happens? If he doesn't have another job, it means that family is going to be thrown out. The lives of staff of Capital Bank and UT Bank have been damaged forever. And that's just 2 banks. Now you have the potential for 5 banks. It's huge. And so for me, I believe that Parliament's focus should be in ensuring that, look, even as you want to establish criminality and punish that, the focus of the Bank of Ghana, truly and truly, is not necessarily the workers who are going to be laid off. That's not the focus of the Bank of Ghana. The focus of the Bank of Ghana is ensuring that they keep the sanity in the banking sector. They're doing the consolidation. They're moving on and making sure that depositors' monies are not necessary. There's no panic withdrawals to affect the economy. There's still confidence in the local banking sector. That's the focus of Bank of Ghana. IOCO, Police CID, Attorney General will be looking to establish criminality and punish sin. In all of this, neither the Attorney General or IOCO or the Bank of Ghana is thinking about the ordinary Ghanaian whose life is going to be affected, who is a breadwinner and is most likely going to be put out there without a job. Now that is where Parliament must step in. We are representatives of the people. We must be seen to be fighting for the people. That is why they voted for us. And so a parliamentary probe must be in insisting that, look, the Bank of Ghana, IOCO, Attorney General, all of you, do your job. But in doing your job, ensure that there is a kitty that has been set aside for the compensation of these workers. I mean, if the Bank of Ghana could provide liquidity support for the bank to keep the bank afloat, and the bank even mismanaged that, or the banks mismanaged that, because we're hearing 620 million to one bank, 800 million to another. I mean, put together a ring-fenced amount of money approved by Parliament to be able to do payments through the Bank of Ghana after they auction some of the properties of the default of the principals of those companies.
I want us to come back again on the DKM and what the NDC did in during the administration of the NDC report. So, but I want to take a quick break now so that when we come, we'll go a bit deeper into that story and discuss other stories this morning. So we'll go for a quick break and Breakfast Daily continues. Remember, the hashtag is Breakfast Daily on all social media platforms and of course WhatsApp line 0550 585 832. Stay tuned.
The Point of View, we're live on Citi TV.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guest, ask them the relevant question.
Don't log off. Beep.
Honorable Samuel Aye Paye is also here with us, members of Parliament for Ningo Prampram, and of course Ayensuano, respectively. Now, you were making a point earlier while we were talking about the banking industry and the parliamentary probe. You said during the NDC administration.
I was saying that under the NDC administration, when the DKM scandal happened, there was a decision to take care of depositors in that case. You understand me? And I'm using that, even though it may not necessarily be the same scenario here. But in that case, when depositors were affected, government took a certain share of the blame because it had oversight responsibility over those institutions through the Bank of Ghana and had failed in its oversight responsibility. And so what government did was, government under the NDC administration said, we're going to defray some of the, or refund parts of the monies to the depositors by auctioning and getting rid of some of the assets and also putting together some taxpayers' money to pay those things. I mean, that ring fencing was done by virtue of the fact that members of parliament called on government at the time to do that. That was started. The NDC lost the power. Under this administration, you've seen some disbursements from that ring fence fund being made to depositors. So you see that irrespective of even a change in government, when parliament spearheads the protection of the citizens, it compels governments, even successive governments, to play ball. What I want to see is parliament, in this case, push that, look, government has culpability, and I hold the view that the Bank of Ghana is culpable in this case. In fact, the Bank of Ghana is guilty of the same offenses that Capital Bank, UT Bank, and all the other 5 banks have committed. Why do I say the Bank of Ghana is guilty? I'll just give you that, and then I'll wrap up. Briefly. The Bank of Ghana gave liquidity support to banks that were distressed. These banks got distressed because there were poor internal controls within those banks, and the way they disbursed their own capital was poor. That's why they got into distressed positions. Before the Bank of Ghana gave out liquidity support, what due diligence did they do on those banks to ensure that there were proper corporate governance structures there that would protect the Bank of Ghana's money that they were giving to them? For the first time in several years, the Bank of Ghana has posted a loss. A loss. And simply because the Bank of Ghana gave liquidity support. People don't know. Liquidity support is a cash cow for the Bank of Ghana. It's not free money.
Yes, it's paid back with interest.
With huge interest. The Bank of Ghana gives it. It's basically like what some of the DKMs did. They give you astronomical interest rates on your. So the Bank of Ghana gives the banks money at a higher rate than they would normally loan them money. And so, are you saying that the Bank of Ghana intentionally gave out liquidity support without doing proper due diligence because they were looking at potential profits that they will make? They are culpable.
Okay, interesting. D. Can move on to our next story.
Yes, our next story has to do with Parliament and the drivers who have. So it says MPs drivers cry over 400 Ghana Citi salary. They appeal for increment. Let's hear your initial thoughts.
Well, I don't understand the position of the drivers in a way. These drivers are not parliament drivers being recruited by Parliament. These are drivers being employed by individual MPs, and their condition of service is between the driver and the MP. If you talk to my driver, he will tell you I'm not paying him anything less than the amount quoted here. So it's not a flat fee that all drivers are paying this. I pay my driver, I pay his social security, I've rented a place for him. So many things that I cannot mention here. So it is not a blanket agreement that MPs have with their drivers. And Parliament, these are not Parliament drivers, parliamentary service drivers. These are drivers for MPs. So if you think your MP is not giving you what requires of you, the best thing you have to do is to negotiate with your employer. Who is your employer? The Member of Parliament. Because if I should put the condition of service and the arrangement that I have with my driver, if I put it here as compared to other, it differs. So why not dealing with individual MPs and their drivers? I quite remember some time ago they raised this issue, and at a joint caucus meeting, Parliament came back and said that, okay, we are not expecting any MP to pay his or her driver below this range, and it was agreed. So I think
the Parliament agreed that you will.
Is that among ourselves? It's not. It can't be a decision of Parliament because Parliament actually doesn't decide how much a member of Parliament should pay his or her driver. But among us, we agree on a certain figure. I think that was
that figure.
That was last Parliament, and it was around 400. And I found the estimate difficult to understand why some MPs after that was 5th Parliament, of which we have had some percentage increase in our salary, and they are still keeping 400 if it is true, if what some of the drivers are saying is true. Anytime I enjoy increment in salary, I do same to that of my driver. So I don't see why some MPs are still keeping the agreement we had in the 6th Parliament. This is 7th Parliament. You must review your driver's salary. Apart from my official vehicle, that's okay, my personal vehicle that my driver drives. The vehicle I bought in 2000 in the 5th Parliament, that was in 2009. It's in the possession of my driver. He brings it to my house, pack it, and take me to when he closes, take it back home.
Well, let's talk about the larger.
So in larger population, that is why I'm saying this to prove to the drivers that they can't put all MPs together. It's MPs drivers. Go and negotiate with your employer.
But you
and
also
your employer
have to,
is your MP.
You also have to understand that not all MPs are as generous as you are. So perhaps just as you have provided your driver with national social security and all these things, maybe other MPs you can meet again and reevaluate the benefits that the drivers
insist
get.
that negotiate with your employer. When your condition of service is not good, the best person to negotiate with is the one who employs you. See, all what Parliament can do is just a joint caucus among us that we can decide that, okay, why not? Nobody should pay his driver. It's an agreement of which some may even decide. We have some MPs who think they can drive on their own. They don't even have drivers.
Yeah. Now beyond that, before you don't have a driver, Sam George.
No, it's not compulsory at all.
But will you meet again the joint caucus? You can meet again, right?
I cannot say it because you are supposed to negotiate with your employer. You are working with Citi. If your condition of service is not good, you don't go to another radio station or TV station to negotiate with them. Negotiate with your employer. Drivers should start to negotiate with their
but respectfully, the 400 cities, they didn't negotiate, right? The joint caucus agreed that we will all pay them.
No, it was just
like Honorable Aye Paye said, the drivers in question here are not staff of the Parliamentary Service Board. People don't understand the way Parliament is structured. Parliament is made up of Parliament that has the 275 MPs and the Speaker, and then there's the Parliamentary Service.
They are civil servants.
Yeah, which is civil service? Which are civil servants? No Parliamentary Service driver earns anything around that figure.
No.
I mean, they are paid like every other, the driver and the president and the ministries.
Yeah.
They are Parliamentary Service staff. Now you have the group that is speaking as drivers of members of Parliament.
Yes.
Now they are not staff of Parliament. They are staff of the individual members of Parliament. One, they don't have a union. I don't even think they would meet the criteria to be unionized. Not every member of Parliament has a driver.
Well, they say they formed a welfare union.
They can form a welfare union, but that is not a union properly supported under labor laws. I for one, for personal reasons, don't have a driver. And there are several members of Parliament who don't have drivers. You understand me? So, I mean, that in itself, you cannot say that all members of Parliament. Now, like Honorable Aye Paye is saying, and then let me use the scenario he used to make it clearer. You are journalists who work with Citi TV. Okay? If you have a problem with your remuneration or your conditions of service, you will not go to the National Media Commission and go and complain. You will sit with your local union here, or sit with your employer, sit with Samens, and have a conversation with him and say, Chief, I think you should do A, B, C to make my case better. Look, many of these drivers, when they were employed, those who've been drivers for members of Parliament for maybe 3 sessions of Parliament, were not earning 400 cedis at a time. They also started from way lower, and they've come up here. It is also not, it will be incorrect and unfair to members of Parliament to suggest that majority of the drivers of members of Parliament are earning 400 Ghana cedis. I know members of Parliament who've built houses for their drivers, who've given cars to their drivers, who pay the fees of their drivers' children. So you see, it is unfair to paint that picture of members of Parliament. I don't have a driver. I have a secretary. My secretary earns way more than that. I've given my secretary a vehicle that he uses to go home and come to work, and when I need him to do something, he uses it to run errands. I fuel the vehicle. I service the vehicle. He just drives it. When he drives it and it breaks down, he calls me that the vehicle has broken down. Then I send the vehicle to go into it. So what would you say about that?
Okay.
I'm paying his fees to make sure he gets a better education. So members of parliament do way more than just paying the salaries. Ask many of these drivers. If members of parliament are not paying, their bosses are not paying the fees of their children, if many of them have not set up their wives in businesses, these are things that members of parliament do. So it's pretty unfair. And I think that if they go about it this way, I mean, they will not achieve what they may want to achieve. Like you said, there could be a joint caucus where it could be one of the issues that could come up. And then a decision could be taken again that, oh, let's step it up to say 800 or 1,000 Ghana cedis. But again, that decision is not enforceable.
It won't bind any
member of parliament.
Okay.
Because you see, it is not
binding
parliament
at all.
taking that decision, because parliament as a body cannot take that decision because they have no contract.
Because an individual contract within the MP as an individual, not even as a member of parliament. That's fine.
Absolutely.
That's fine. Thanks
so
for the
that is
clarity.
why at the time they agreed on 400 cedis, there were some members of parliament who were paying way above the 400
When they paid
Now, I'll just
I was
move on.
paying more than 400.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you very much, honorable members of parliament.
To wrap this up, it's a private matter between
Deal with your employer. Deal with your boss.
So now let's move on to the story. The Tamale Teaching Hospital doctors and nurses, strike over attack on CEO. I'm reading from citinewsroom.com. The story says, doctors, nurses, and midwives at the Tamale Teaching Hospital have laid down their tools to protest the attack on the hospital's CEO, Dr. David Zaumia Kobia, the attack on him by youth groups affiliated to the governing NPP. Now, the leadership of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association Tamale Teaching Hospital branch, in a petition copied to citinewsroom.com, vowed never to rescind its decision until the perpetrators are brought to book. So I'll start with you, Sam George, on this particular story.
Yeah. The incidents that happened, I think, 2 days ago at the Tamale Teaching Hospital are regrettable. They show a clear sign of impunity and a breakdown in internal control structures within the NPP when it comes to their youth groups and instilling discipline. And I think that this culture is something that we must all denounce in the national interest, be it in the NDC or in the NPP. You cannot have youth groups that would hijack the governance system because of their contribution to political achievement of political power. That said, the ultimate beneficiaries of political power, must be mindful of those who they use to attain that power and make sure that they compensate them accordingly so that you don't have these festering groups there. But that said, I believe that the president, who is commander-in-chief of the armed forces and president of the republic and leader of his party, must be able to show leadership in there and clamp down on this, because we've seen this happen too many times. Greater Accra, almost every region, you're seeing this rampaging youth. It's been going on for 18 plus months. You need to see him show some leadership internally to be able to curb this, because, I mean, when it happens internally, it has a national effect. Today, patients who need to access medical care in Tamale, who may have even voted for President Akufo-Addo, may lose their lives if there are no doctors and nurses on duty because of the internal wranglings of that party. The nation must not suffer for the internal issues that exist within a political party. And I think that here, the buck stops with the president. You can't dance around it. He must show leadership. And you see, leadership goes beyond the sound bites of saying, I don't want this, I'm not happy with this. We don't want a soundbite presidency. We want an action-driven presidency. You know, it's one thing saying you're not happy about it and then not showing or giving action to what you've said. The police, this gentleman granted interviews, and up till now the police is telling us they are conducting investigations. If you like, go to a police station or go to Ridge Hospital now, and go and slap the doctor there on duty and grant an interview to a media house and see if the police will not arrest you. But they've seen the individuals, there are video footages of them, and they say they're investigating. What are they investigating? When they say they're investigating, they are simply waiting for an order, because they know this is political. And look, this will happen even if it was the NDC in government.
Why?
Because, you know why? Because we don't have an independent police service. We have a police service, that's your promotion. When you get to a certain level, especially of read them, deal with them. Then as soon as the cameras go up, they say, oh,
but aren't you giving these young men more power over our security forces?
That is the irresponsibility of politics. All of us, we are guilty of it. Honorable Samuel Aye Paye, me, the people who helped us in our constituencies during our elections. When they call us and say, police are chimio, the first thing we do, we call the commander and say, Oye Makwala, why then would they take care of him? He's my son, he's my boy. When we do that, and then the police commander knows that, hey, MP are friendly. So he will tell you, oh, MP, talk to your boy because he did ABC. We don't at times allow the full rigors of the law to work. We don't allow the state to play its role. So you call the police commander at your local level. The president also calls the IGP at his level. And then you realize that you make the police actively inactive. The police is sitting there and watching because they know that a big man is calling from Accra or from the regional coordinating council saying that these boys are our boys. So you will deal with them internally. And you continue to see this spiral out. And then it builds a culture of impunity within the boys. Because they know that once it happens, I just need to take my phone and call honorable or call a big man. And then the police will not arrest me. That's what you're seeing. That's what gave them impunity to go into a courtroom where a judge was presiding and sack people. That gave them impunity to go and attack a regional security commander. Which
effectively, when you needed people to elect you, can we help them maybe channel this?
They don't
this
have
somewhere
a lot
else?
of power, as you said. They don't. We have allowed them to do what they are doing. Let me tell you point blank. When it happened in Kumasi, as he said, and they were arrested, prosecuted, whatever, and they know it will put some fears. I want a bold policeman to arrest somebody internally. Those who did that. For any MPP person, anybody in government think have a big boss to come out and say that freedom, the Ghanaians will turn their hand on them. We had a situation where customer officers were dismissed because somebody think he has powers in government and brought in a check to clear goods. It didn't. The check didn't clear. Brown one, you accepted it. When the Auditor General went in, it was the custom officer who was charged. So if you think you are a policeman and you will not do your job because there's a politician there that you are afraid of, one day that politician will not even have a signature on any of the statements that or the actions that you take. It is you, the policeman, who is in charge. I want a policeman to arrest those pictures who are seen, those that we are seeing their pictures on screen, those who are granting interview, moving around on the street of Tamale. For anybody in government to call and say freedom, nobody can do that. They must be arrested.
Honorable, sorry. The fact that instead of custodial sentences, they were given fines. I'm not talking about the Tamale incident. I think it's in respect of the Kumasi incident that you mentioned, the Ashanti. Then, instead of custodial sentences, those who were culpable were given fines. And then, I believe that there were members of the MPP who came to pay the fines.
What I'm saying that
it's not whatever. This
years
by paying the fine for someone.
That means you're supporting.
You are supporting it.
You're not responsible for the action.
That's what I said. Those who did that, if they have the next opportunity, they will try.
But why are we bailing them out?
Who is bailing them out? I'm just
giving the fine. You have bailed the person out.
I'm not saying that somebody in MPP or in government went to pay for them. I'm just trying to tell you that even if somebody paid for them, and that person said, when you do this again, I'm not coming to aid again. It is a deterrent. It is a fear that we've put into them. Next time, to be careful when they are moving such steps. But when we allow people to walk freely on the street after committing such crimes.
Honorable, I'm suggesting to you at this point that it would have been more deterrent if they were allowed to pay the fines themselves.
That. What I'm saying that, which is better? What is happening in Tamale as compared to what happened in Kumasi? I think what happened in Kumasi is better.
I think both of them are very
I think some people were kept behind bars. Yes. I think some people were sent to court. Some prosecutions were done. Fines. Some people were sentenced.
Okay, Honorable, how do we prevent...
To allow people to do this. Now, the doctors are home. The nurses are home. Today, laboratory technicians have joined. These people, whether concerned youth or Kandahar boys, they should go home and beat them to come back to work. They should go to their home, take canes and go and beat them, and ask them to come and work.
Now, Honorable, respectfully,
it is something that we need to condemn it. What I'm saying is that let the police act. And somebody asks them not to do it. Then, of course, we all can sit here and condemn such a person.
Okay, so we condemned them. And Nana Boachi came out to condemn them yesterday. We've heard people constantly condemning these guys.
But what? I want the police to act. And then somebody asks, oh, it's the MPP National Youth Organizer who asks us to arrest them. So we have arrested them. But as we speak, nobody And nobody can blame any politician from shielding these people. What I'm saying is that the police must act. They should go and arrest them for somebody to pick a phone and call them and say, I tried arresting them, but this man, A, B, C, this is a shooting. Until we have such people to work in this country, we are going to have problems that we are having at our banking sector.
So president should call out politicians. That's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying. But what Sam George is also saying is that it's just lip service they pay to the media.
And let me use the Kumasi example. The Kumasi example, one of the reasons why custodial sentences could not be handed down was because of the change in the charges that were proffered by the Attorney General. The change in the charges happened because the Attorney General said they couldn't get a prosecution witness. Now, the lead prosecution witness that the state needed was the regional security coordinator, who is an appointee of the president, who was assaulted. Now, the regional security coordinator ensured I will not testify.
You know this for a fact?
Oh, yes. He refused to testify. The regional security coordinator said he was not willing to press charges. And so once the person who is supposed to be your lead witness could not, so they were rather charged with causing public disorder or something. And that was why a fine was given. And then in that instance, you saw members of the NPP. I will not say it was an official NPP position. I can't say that for a fact. But you saw leading members. You saw a deputy general secretary of the NPP at the time, lead as legal representation for the accused, and you saw the regional chairman at the time and still regional chairman in the Ashanti region, Chairman Muntumi, said that and when they went to court and the fines were paid, in the court they will say Yetua. So when you do that, it's one thing to say we are against it, we don't support it, but then you are sending a signal to the boys. Like you said, leave the boys to go and hire their own lawyer. Leave them to have to find the money to pay whatever fines. Then they feel the pinch. But they know that, when we go and do it, all we'll do is our big men will come and get us lawyers, and when they find us, they will pay for us. So then how then does that become a deterrent?
But when they were detained, their big bosses were not in the cells with them. But to go to something that you said, that I think
it's a really sad situation.
Yes, really sad for young men to be a threat to our security.
It's very embarrassing.
This is a national issue. They can walk out to the sets right now and cause mayhem.
That those people shouldn't be walking on the street by now. They should be behind bars, and I've said that. That's why I'm insisting that the police should go for them. The police should ignore whoever. I don't know. I haven't heard of any politician or.
Are you denying the facts as the story he just? Are you saying what he said is not true?
Not true as what?
As in, he mentioned that the Ashanti regional chairman
couldn't even testify.
Said that we are paying for the regional security.
But I was trying to compare what happened in Kumasi and the punishment given to them as what is happening in Tamale.
But what happened in Kumasi is not even a good example.
Even arrested by the police. Let's try to compare the two.
To be fair,
it is an improvement of what happened in Kumasi. At least a punishment. Some people were arrested. They were kept behind.
An improvement of 0 is 0.
So that you can't say it's 0
because I'm saying it's 0 because it is negative or it's
what bad. I'm saying. It is nobody should say. As I see it, I'm not supporting it. I'm not saying anybody. I condemn it. And what I'm saying is that they should be arrested. Those I don't understand why they are going around granting interviews.
Honorable Sam George is saying it's lip service that the MPP is paying to the media.
You see, there's one thing that we can do to stop all this nonsense. Quote unquote, and excuse my word this morning. You see, he mentioned something that I'm fully in support with. One, if you come to Parliament, the chairman of parliamentary committees, there's a convention, though in not our standing orders, that the most senior person in the committee, if competent, becomes the chairman of the committee at the convention. Now, if you sit in a committee meeting and you see how committee chairmen, who are members of the majority, scrutinize government policies, and then call ministers who are part of their government to answer questions at the committee, and the way they, I don't know the word to use, but the way they ask them to act and the authority they have on ministers, see clearly that they are not afraid of their appointing authority. Okay. Are you getting my point?
Because we are not under, as members of parliament, we are not under the minister or the president.
Yes, or the president.
So we have the powers to do.
I end that position due to my competence and my long service in Parliament.
Okay, Honorable, we should be ending you on that point.
I'm making a point. So, if we get up one day and we amend the 1992 Constitution, and it says that the most senior person in the police service become the next IGP, or we select the most seniors
hierarchy
and elect one of them as our IGP, some of these things will stop because the IGP will not be under anybody's armpit.
When the IGP, the Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Defense Staff, is not tied to a presidency.
Okay.
So
but they are people.
Go to UK. Go to UK. Some of the provinces have their head of police is elected. It's by elections.
The National Security Advisor in the US transcends 3 different administrations.
I'll just read a few messages and then we shall just end this particular discussion. A message here says, respectfully, the terrain in Tamale is different about the Tamale Hospital saga. Please, it's a tribal one, not a political one, so don't blame the police. That's why nobody has been arrested so far. They would not betray their own. I don't know, but some people have indeed been Tamale cells have prisoners in there, so let's not make that assumption so strongly. But I'm sure you know what you're saying. You may have your point clear. Good morning, Citi TV Breakfast Show host. Our dear panelists, we really need leaders like the 2 honorables you have this morning. I really follow your programs. I love them. Okay, so Lauren from Magina, thank you for liking the program. Good morning. I think Honorable Sam George has hit the nail right on the head. I like his exposure on the curtained issue within the security and the fact that they have teeth but can bite politically, but maybe cannot bite politically motivated individuals or groups, but can bite fragile Ghanaians. This coming from Oman, I think. Anyway, well, quite a few messages. We shall read them shortly for you. Ghanaians are not interested in, no matter how long it will take, the way. Okay, it's in respect of Woyome issues. So we'll go through the messages.
But before we move to the next
break, no, we have run out of time.
It is time. With the politicians also try to distance ourselves with this calling of the police. At times, the police uses as an excuse to do their own thing. For all you know, no order from above. It's just a fact that they cannot act.
So we have to end it here. We were joined indeed by Honorable Sam George. He's the Honorable Member of Parliament for Ningo Prampram, and not forgetting Honorable Samuel Aye Paye, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Ayensuano. He's also the chairman of the Roads and Transport Committee of Parliament. So keep your messages coming through. We shall read them, of course, when we come back from the break. Hashtag Breakfast Daily on all social media platforms, and of course 0550-585-832 on WhatsApp. Keep them coming and do stay tuned. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you.
Hey family, my name is Joe Metal and you're watching Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Keep watching, don't go nowhere.
Good evening, this is The Point of View. We're live on Citi TV.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guests, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
We need taxes to run the economy. How do you do it sensibly and have the least pernicious effect in terms of cascading through the economy? And I think that is the thinking that is required. It's not a denial that we need taxes, you know, and I think that is the difference in the two administrations.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on Citi TV.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Sometimes I feel, you know, when we are all humans. When somebody says something about me, no, I might want to say something.
Yeah.
So, but when I say people shouldn't take it like taking things, you know, personal and stuff. I've understood showbiz now, and I really want to work on it like that.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on Citi TV.
Jealousy go shame against the bad boy. Jealousy go shame. Whoa. What's up, guys? Your boy Kitty, and right now you are watching Breakfast Daily. Oh, Lord of mercy. Let's go.
They say, why you they love them like this? Oh, I don't know. Hi, everyone. It's Miss V. Make sure you keep watching Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Don't go anywhere. Tiptoe. Swag.
Live music, interviews, poetry, and more with your favorite personalities. Be our guest on Saturdays from 2 to 4 p.m. for the most exciting moments on TV. Join Kojo Akoto Boateng for real entertainment right in your living room. Saturday Live on Citi TV and Citi 97.3 FM.
Wherever the weekend sporting action happened, we will bring it to you here on Scorecard. Every goal, every dunk, every punch, the winning strides, and the winning volleys.
International media, he said, look, wait, sit and eat. Let me have a meal with my people. And I think that's the same cool, it's the same organization he brings to the field every time I've seen him play. He looks to me like somebody who has played over 50 caps already. Okay. But this guy has barely played over 25 caps for the national team.
All of the weekend's action in one place. Scorecard, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. prompt on Citi TV.
My name is Juliet Asantua Asante. Keep watching Breakfast Daily on Citi TV.
For regular news checks as they unfold, 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
I know about that photo, saying Tim Titia who I go talk to, yeah. This is Kwesiata and you're watching Breakfast Daily, ground up to the top, oh yeah.
Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, world. You're in tune to the Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Stoneboy says so. Keep it locked. Don't log off. Boom.
Go. Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you. 30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on Citi TV.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on Citi TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complex. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Biggest You with Stella Madonu on Citi TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m. Wherever the weekend sporting action happens, we will bring it to you here on Scorecard. Every goal, every dunk, every punch, the winning strides, and the winning volleys.
Come, international media, he said, look, wait, sit and wait. Let me have a meal with my people. And I think that that's the same cool, it's the same organization he brings to the field every time.
Sometimes I feel it's all the same, that certain things will never change. But I know life is not a race, so come with me, let's escape. I try to run but I fall, I try to scream but I tremble. These burning flames have me numb. It's like I know we'll fail before we even start. Who cares? 'Cause I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. I'm free, free as a bird, flying high through the night sky. I just wanna spread my wings and truly feel alive. Free as the wind, with a force that can never die. I got to know just how good it feels. Do you know, do you know, do you know, do you know just how good it feels to be free, to be free, to be free, to be free. Oh, to be free. Do you know, do you know, do you know, do you know just how good it feels? Do you know, do you know, do you know, do you know just how good it feels? Do you know, do you know, do you know, do you know just how good it feels to be free, to be free, to be free, to be free. Oh,
wow, what a talent. Ladies, get over here, get on the couch. Let's have a conversation. Good. Okay, you want to join me? I don't think we can all fit here. Just sit next to me. Just sit here. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? First of all, you're very, very talented.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it. I hope you sing again for us after the interview. So this is Black Girls Glow. Now I'm going to tell you all about Black Girls Glow and the work they're doing to take our female artists global, right? So we're going to talk about carrying our female artists to the world. But first, let's talk a bit about art and the role it plays in every society. So art plays a critical role in every society. For one, it serves as a bridge between people and their means of survival. Music takes a person's life, their hope, their raw talent, unfiltered pain, and turns it into something beautiful. In Ghana, as much as in the rest of the world, out of 40 active spoken word artists, only 8 of them were women. On the larger art scale, men still dominate every sector. There are more male singers, poets, rappers, musicians, and painters than there are women. We need more female voices. No one can tell the female story better than the females themselves. And diverse narratives are needed to create beautiful art that will mark our souls. If we keep looking at only one portion of humanity, we will never see the big picture. So it's my pleasure to introduce you all to Black Girls Glow. What inspired this community? Let me start. Let me first introduce. So we have Anna Rose. She's a singer and songwriter. We have Benuma, who is an interdisciplinary artist. So you will tell me what that interdisciplinary artist, that's a mouthful. You tell me what that is. Sure. And Reyes, who is a singer and songwriter. So we heard from Reyes. Good morning. Good morning. Let's hear a bit about all of you first before we talk about Black Girls Glow.
Okay, so I am Anna Rose. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm 19 years old, and I'd say that I'm now getting into the music industry and discovering myself as an artist. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you. So I'm Effie, aka Benuma. I'm an interdisciplinary artist. So basically that means I run through different kinds of art forms. So choreography, I dance, I act, I write, I make art, and tableau vivant. So all those things come together in my work. But in Black Girls Glow, I come in as a poet more than anything. So that's me in a nutshell.
Okay.
My name is Race. I'm also a singer-songwriter. I also kind of beginning. I've done mostly just individual work, so this is my first time really fully collaborating on a project, and it's been really inspiring, and it's been a really amazing experience.
Okay, so I'll start with you. Tell us a bit about Black Girls Glow.
So Black Girls Glow was created in 2017 by one of Ghana's topmost female poets, that's Poetra Asantewaa, and her partner in crime, J. Jones. So what happened was Poetra went to this amazing residency in the States, which pulled artists from all over the world together in a 1-month residency. And while she was there, she was like, we need something like this in Ghana, not necessarily just for the women, but for artists in general. But being a female, being a poet, looking at the statistics that were in front of her, she was like, okay, I think I should get together with some of my friends and let's do something for women to see who's out there, what are they trying to do, how can we help them. So what they did was get together last year for a quick residency, and then they recorded an album. So she called together Rhea Boss, Fu, who is a rapper, Rhea's a singer, Sina Soul, and Aduma, who are also singers, and then she and J. John were the poets. So this year, we all applied with many other amazing Ghanaian artists, and we were the 3, and there are 3 others, so 6 of us got in. So that's how Black Girls Glow works. We came in for 5 days on an intensive residency, came together, knocked heads, and put a 10-track album together in 2 days.
Wow.
So
wow. Okay, tell me a bit about that experience.
Okay, so basically the general idea was to bring different voices together. Like we were saying earlier, it's important to have that diversity of voices. We all have different backgrounds, different levels
What
of
are your
experience.
backgrounds, actually?
Backgrounds in terms of, education or where we're coming from.
Where you're coming from.
Yeah. So for me, I'm a Ghanaian, but I just I just graduated from grad school in Texas. So I'm here, I'm back home now. And she's still in college. She's...
what school are you in?
Yeah.
I'm studying in Pomona College in California.
Okay.
And in my case, I grew up in Australia, moved to Ghana to work in theatre here, and I just graduated last year from my master's at NYU.
Wow, so you really like
all
different places. How was it like? What made you first apply? And how was it like when you were selected?
So when I first heard about Black Girls Glow, it was actually from last year's album that they put out. And I did know, I would say, all but one of the artists on the project. So I was excited to see something because you don't usually see a lot of collaboration between, especially female artists. Yeah. Because even individually, they're not really out there in the scene like that. So be able to have all their voices come together to create such a powerful project. It's called Mother of Heirs. You should actually listen to it when you get a chance. But that's what inspired me. So when I heard that this year they were doing it again and they were putting out applications, I had to get on it. I did everything I could to get on that project. So I was really glad when I finally got the email that said I'd been accepted. And it's been an amazing experience right from the beginning. We all came together very quickly. And I think because we had the same vision, it was easy for us to work together and be cohesive because we had that sense of direction and we're able to collaborate with each other very easily.
Okay, now you're the youngest, I'm assuming, right? And you
no, actually.
One more.
You touched on your identity a bit when you were introducing yourself, that you're finding your voice.
Oh.
How important is it to collaborate with other female artists as you are also molding your own space and finding your own voice? How important is this?
For me, I think it was very important, because before Black Girls Glow, I was basically just making music for myself and my family and friends.
So like maybe Thanksgiving.
Yes. So Black Girls Glow gave me the platform, and I think it was very important, because if I'd gone into it alone, I don't think I would have learned as much as if I had learned things with these people, especially with Poetra and J-Drum. So finding out the stories from other artists who have already developed and other developing artists helps me as a person to develop as well.
So I'll come back, I'll get to you now. How important is it for us to actively and deliberately groom our female artists to become global sensations?
It's important for me on so many levels. Cultural pride is really important. And that's something that when you're in Ghana amongst your people, you can take for granted. But there's something amazing when you're outside of Ghana as a young child and you see a Ghanaian doing something that you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I could. And for me, that's one of the most important things about being up here. I think another reason why I love the idea of what we're doing is, like, you don't know how much talent is out there until there's a call for it. And there's something that we need to do in Ghana that I believe Poetra and J-Drum have just hit the nail on the head, and that's harnessing talent, whether it's young, old, emerging, existing. And that's something that we've taken for granted in Ghana. Because we're inherently performative and artistic people, we don't realize the need to harness it as a product that can then represent us on the world stage. South Africa has it down. If anyone has a musical or a film and they want to cast dancers, singers, actors, that's one of the greatest, dare I say, minds for talent. So why not harness Ghanaian talent to be able to get tapped into the same way? So for me, Black Girls Glow is just precisely what we should be doing in Ghana. Finding it, identifying it, harnessing and growing it. We're very good at criticizing ourselves, but we're not good at learning and critiquing. We're not good at saying, okay, this didn't work, but try this. We just say, oh, it wasn't nice, and it gets thrown away. But that's something that can be worked on, polished. So for me, what excites me is in the next, let's say, 5 years, how many female producers, rappers, singers, songwriters, poets can we grow for it to actually be an industry that can run without needing to go outside to shoot or outside for the beats. It's all here. We just have to grow it.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, Rhea, Grace. Let's touch a bit on the importance of having the female voice in our industry. I mean, way back when, I remember, I think Nana, the lady that's made of, you know, and then we had Miss Bell, then we had Tiffany. Once in a while, we'll have a woman, you know, really make it out there. But even when she's in the industry, it feels as though she's by herself. She's isolated. She has to either pretend to be one of the boys. She can't even be feminine. You know, so how important is it for us to have that diverse voice in our industry, and what is the role of the Ghanaian in helping nurture that talent?
Okay, so you touched on a really important point. You know, when you were talking about the general idea behind Black Girls Glow and the importance of hearing different voices and kind of representing all individuals without skewing the perception of the big picture, that's where that comes in, that whole idea of bringing out especially the female voices. Because unfortunately, when you're in a situation where in the real world population, for example, females are actually a higher population than males, but then in everything else where we're supposed to be representative of our culture, suddenly we're kind of silenced, if that makes sense. And that gives you a very skewed perception of the actual real world around us. And so it's important to be able to try to balance that out so that you have a real understanding of the community around you, because somebody else cannot tell your story better than you can. And so I think that as Ghanaians in general, it's important for us to realize that there is a certain real sense of individuality that we get from being able to give other people a voice, because sometimes somebody can tell something that resonates with you in a way that somebody else can't. And so when we see the value in being able to hear other people's stories and being able to have that resonance with them, then we're going to be able to encourage them more. I mean, when you see an artist that you like, you can support them, whatever it is, whether it's going to their shows or sharing their music, whatever it is that you need to do. If you think they're good, you can't just think it in your head. You have to be able to go out there and get people to hear them, get people to see them, whatever it is that you can do in your own small way to be able to get people to notice that, hey, there's good art here and there's good talent here, and they also have the voices heard. So I think that's good to know.
Okay, now to you, not Amma, right? Anna Rose. Yesterday, the CEO of Impact Sabakra was here, and one of our entertainment journalists interviewed him. His name is William Sanyo, and he said something very profound. He said, with social media now, artists can reach a large range of people, and the way they can differentiate themselves is by being authentic, right? Sticking to their authentic selves. Now, I grew up listening to maybe Ghanaian artists who were trying to sound like Jay-Z and Ja Rule, and then Sarkodie came in. He was different, right? Because here's this guy speaking his tree, and it's just the confidence in not mimicking others. So what role is it now that female artists are getting out there, we're all going to support them? What is your advice to those who may be tempted to follow a certain, path because they think perhaps this person went this way and they succeeded, so I also have to do that? I mean, there are rappers who are feminine, right? So how do we really make room for people to be their true, authentic selves?
Okay, so the advice I would give aspiring artists or rappers or singers is that everyone has their own path and their own story. You could decide to take the same path as Ifya or Miss Bell, but then depending on who you are, it wouldn't exactly give the same effect. So whatever you feel is right within yourself, you should follow that path. Me, for example, I'm saying I'm still exploring myself.
Which is fine for a 19-year-old. I was not here when I was 19.
But I have artists that I look up to. Someone like Beyonce. But obviously, Beyonce had different experiences that shaped her life and her career. So I am basically taking opportunities that I can, but with the right mindset. Is this better in the long run? Will this benefit me, or is it just going to be a quick fix, basically? So whatever feels right, because like in your guts, if something is right and if something is wrong. So just follow your dreams. Don't let anyone stop you. Because in Ghana or around the world, if you tell someone that, oh, I'm pursuing the arts, they'll tell you that this is not where the money is, or this is not a certain future for you. But if you persevere and you know that this is like you can't live without it, or this is your passion, I don't think you should put that down for anything or anyone.
Okay. Now, Benuma, let me come to you about that. She just made a very profound statement that people perceive this industry as this is not where the money is. And I think even last week, Manifest was on Jessica's show, and he said there's no money in the music industry. Both of you have your master's degree and you are in this space. There's an artist, Serge, who he went on Facebook he went to the Facebook headquarters to showcase his work. So these are all these beautiful women, Anna Rose, Benuma, all of you are in this space. Beyond us just paying lip service to saying there's no money in the industry, how do we ensure that just as you're killing it like Beyonce, you're also making some Beyonce money in Ghana and beyond?
Well, I think there are a lot of factors. If we're going to use any American artist as an example, we have to look at the economy of the country and the maturity of where the country is. Right now, Ghana is in a time where we are now re-accepting art and socializing, which means that previously a lot of people, and a lot of the things I'll say now may come across as general, but a lot of people were in it for the money. That's seen across the arts, film, theater, television, music. It was business first. So this whole thing of sex sells is from a business perspective as opposed to necessarily an artistic perspective, which is why you have your underground artists and your commercial artists. So for me, I think it's a matter of, one, ethics. If you really want to make money and be in the industry, as Anna Rose was saying, you need to look inward and go, what is my area? What is my genre? 2, training. When we look at Beyonce, she doesn't get there because she wakes up in the morning and puts makeup and hair on.
Even though she says she woke up like
this, right? And she probably did, because she probably did a show and went to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, you know what I mean? If she fell asleep like that, she gonna wake up like that. But the truth is, she works so hard. There's this whole movement of K-pop, the Korean pop and Japanese pop videos, and when you go on YouTube, you can just watch their rehearsal videos, and their rehearsal videos probably have more views than the actual clip itself, because you're looking at, even in the rehearsal, they're dressed a certain way, the movements are tight, the dancing is amazing, and that's a rehearsal. I think sometimes you have to look at what the art is. It's never just about the person sitting in front of the screen. It's the work that's going on behind it. Did I wake up and run or do aerobics this morning? What's my breathing like? I want to be a singer. Am I doing my scales? My voice is a muscle, so how am I growing my voice and my range, so that last week I could only sing up to this C, but next week I'm going up to an A minor. You know what I mean? I want to be a dancer. Are you learning the moves? Are you watching? Are you working on your technique? Or are you just getting up, putting on sneakers and trackies and then going, hey, and then everybody, and then when you get on stage, you can't even sustain it. Are you learning the words to your own songs? So that when you get on stage, if the DJ or the track is not there, can you still sing it and let people sing with you? And it's like, that was the best show I ever saw. So I think ethics, training, they all really come into it, and it's really important. So for me, these are two things that if the producers are doing it, the funders are doing it, the artists are doing it, the spaces for the artists to rehearse in or film in are doing it, then actually we can have an industry that is self-sustainable. But if you're coming to the table just like that, with no preparation, you know, we look at artists like Yaya, preparation, artists like Wiala, preparation. They're working. They may not be right in your limelight today, but maybe in 10 years you can still press play on that track. And that's what happens when we listen to Sarko Dear, R2Bs today, Skillions. You can put those records on and you're still singing word for word because they worked at it. So I think if it's about making money, you have to be ready to work.
Now we're going to learn more about these beautiful women and where we can also support you, because I'm sure you have some songs out and some performances that we can all attend after we take these messages.
Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, world. You're in tune to the Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Stoneboy says so. Keep it locked. Don't log off. Boom.
For regular news checks as they unfold, 2020 news all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
Go.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Sometimes I feel, you know, when we are all humans. When somebody says something about me, no, I might want to say something.
Yeah.
So, but when I say it, people shouldn't take it like taking things, you know, personal and stuff. I've understood showbiz now, and I really want to work on it like that.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on Citi TV.
Good evening. This is The Point of View. We're live on Citi TV.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guest, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
We need taxes to run the economy. How do you do it sensibly and have the least pernicious effect in terms of cascading through the economy? And I think that is the thinking that is required. It's not a denial that we need taxes, you know, and I think that that is the difference in the two administrations.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on Citi TV.
Heard all about Black Girls Glow. Let's find out where we can get your album. If you have any performances that we can attend, can you let us know where we can even find you on social media as well?
Sure. Well, at Black Girls Glow on Instagram and Twitter. We also have a show coming up tomorrow at Rockstone's office, 6 to 9 p.m. Tickets are 20 Ghana cedis. You can get them at the gate. There was one more thing we could say. Oh, our album.
Yes. Tell me about your album.
The album came out last Friday. Okay. So it's available for streaming on SoundCloud. It's also available for 10 cedis on Aftown. There will be hard copies available tomorrow at the concert as well for those who want to have a real solid look at the album.
Nice.
And it's called Harmony.
Harmony.
Yes.
Okay. So you ladies are going to stay. We want to give our viewers a bit of what to expect of tomorrow's concert. Okay, so don't go anywhere. I'm just going to cross over to Wilberforce and see what he's doing over there.
Yes, thank you very much. It's good. You have to cross over to me. So from the ladies section, from the ladies room over there, we've come back to the guys corner. Good job you're doing. Black Girls Glow. Keep glowing, keep shining, and keep doing your thing. Whichever event you're doing, and we'll also come there. We'll come and support. If I'll be in the front, I'll be waiting in the car, but I will be there. Anyway, right now we are talking to Kwame Zagi. So you saw this young man playing the guitar at the beginning of the show. Fantastic talent, amazing voice, and now he's joined me on set. Good morning, welcome to Breakfast Daily, Kwame.
Good morning, bro.
Yeah. You said it with more passion than I said it. So you say it again. Okay, good morning, Kwame Zagi.
Good morning, bro.
It's okay, it's okay. Okay, so now tell me a bit about music for you. Okay, now you have the fantastic guitar on your lap right now. How did this start for you? How did you move from Kwame Zagi, maybe you used to play, what sport did you used to play?
A sport as a...
football, basketball?
Football.
Football, yeah. Okay, so how did you move from Kwame Zagi, the Four Corners footballer player, to Kwame Zagi, the amazing guitarist and musician?
Yes, I think it has always been a passion to be a musician. Yes, so I remember when I used to, perform at churches and parties and all that. And so quickly, I went to the secondary school, and then I was elected as entertainment prefect.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Oh, they had posts. Yeah. Wait. But before that, during all those times, or during that period, were you still using the guitar, or it came in later in life?
No. I came to learn it to attach to the craft. I believe that as a musician, you must try hard to, get one instrument attached to the skill. Yes, so I realized if I want to be that musician I want to be and become, And
you chose the guitar?
Yeah, guitar.
So during your time as entertainment prefect, that was singing, exclusively singing? Yeah. Or what other type of music were you doing?
I started as a rapper.
You started as a rapper?
Yeah, I started as a rapper. When we used to learn songs and perform them, and the likes of Reggie Rackstone, Maka, those days.
So you're performing other people's songs in secondary school, or it was your song?
No.
You were not writing rap per se?
Yes, I wasn't writing my own songs then. Yeah, so like I started writing other, rapping other people's songs and all that, and then it came back to...
And then it came back to you. So when did you move from doing other people's songs to putting pen to paper and doing your songs?
Yes, after school, and then I realized...
You write your own songs?
Yes. I started writing my own songs after secondary school. Yes, and that's when I started going to studio and all that. Yeah, so that's when everything started. Yeah.
After secondary school?
After secondary school, I started writing my own songs, going to the studio, recording and all that.
And was that still rap, or it was evolving into high life?
Yes, I was rapping.
What you do is high life?
Yes, high life. I was rapping and then singing as well. I sing my own chorus and then I rap.
Do you remember any of your rap songs? Maybe if you throw on some earrings, we'll add you to Black Girls Club.
You know, there's this song that I remember. It was kind of raga stuff like Angelina, Brana Mafi wo, Ubiani want to go pa esin wo, Angelina, Brana Mafi wo.
Wow.
Yeah, that's way back.
That's even way back, and it even sounds good even today. So now I want to, before I let you play this, I want to get a bit of background into you. People usually want to associate with their, their favorite musicians through their life stories. Can you sum up your life story in like 2 minutes?
Yes, I'm Kwame Zagi. I'm born in Kwame Ampa. I'm a songwriter and a composer and a musician. I like musician. Yes, I grew up in Cape Coast. I come from a humble home. I'm the firstborn of my parents. And
dare I ask how old? How old? How old are you?
My age. I'm very, very old.
let's leave it to the people to guess.
Yes. I'm too old. Yes, and I came back into the industry around 2010. 2011 with my first album, which had just the two of us on, featuring Ochami Kwame.
Oh wow!
Yes, yeah. And then, yes, I've been around. I have a couple of singles on, won some awards and all that. Yeah. So like.
Do you remember any of these awards?
Yes. I think last year. Yes, I've gotten lots of couple of nominations, but last year I won the. Best male vocalist of the year at the Central Music Awards, and then a couple of nominations. And so I think that's a bit about Kwame Zagi.
It's good. So there was a bit of a break in your career, because I personally, growing up, I was listening to Kwame Zagi. I loved your songs. So there was a bit of break in the career. What happened in the middle?
Around 2010. After my album launch, I was signed to Paradigm Entertainment. That's the record label that brought me out. Yes, and I lost my manager, and then it was kind of a big blow to the house. Yes, so it delayed things a bit. Yes, so that was what really happened. That's Kwame Zagi. The brand went down a bit just to put myself together again, and then hit back again. So I think it's been about close to 8 years. Yes, close to 8 years now. But
because it's true. That is the fact. Yeah. You've been missing for a while.
Yeah, sure.
To be very fair, and to be very honest, when I saw Kwame Zagi, I was thinking, I know Kwame Zagi, but I was wondering whether it is indeed Kwame Zagi.
Yeah, it's really me. Yeah, it is really me. Yeah, so I decided to stay at the background, observe things, how things are going, and prepare again, and then hit.
So now, are you coming back with the same thing or something new? Because I believe music in Ghana has largely evolved. Yeah. Are you coming back with a different flavor, or you want to remind Ghanaians of who Kwame Zagi was, and let us maintain the trend, the Kwame Zagi that we loved? Are we going to see the same Kwame Zagi, or maybe a different version of Kwame Zagi?
Yes, I think as I stayed at the background, I've learned a lot, and I've added so much to the brand Kwame Zagi. The power that I was bringing, I think I I didn't have the chance to exhibit it to the public, to know whatever Kwame Zagi, that new guy who was trending here and there.
Trending.
Yes, you know, I didn't have the chance to exhibit it for people to understand what I really meant. Yeah, so this is the time I think I'm back, and let's see what I got.
But 8 years is a long time. Do you feel you can actually compete with the new people in town, for instance?
Nothing has really changed. Yes, to me, nothing has really changed.
All right, and I assume the young people are taking over. I mean, half of the singers in Ghana right now are really, really young. Kwame Eugene, Kiddy, all those people. Do you still feel you make a headway in this industry?
I still got it.
You're not rusty in any way.
No. You know, Kwame Zagi, everybody, people that follow Kwame Zagi, you yourself, you know.
I know Kwame Zagi.
You know what we can do, and I can say I'm not a whack artist.
Far from.
Yeah, actually, I know what I'm doing, so I'm prepared to, you know, deliver at every platform given me.
Kwame Zagi, you have my full support. No two ways about that. So right now, what's the journey for what are we working on? Are we working on probably a few singles, working on a solo album, or we're working to collaborate with other artists in the industry right now?
Yes, you know, my first collaboration with Ochame Kwame, that was on my first album. That's the Yankontong album. Yes, and I've done a couple of collaborations too. You know, because I was at the background, you know, it wasn't really loud out there. Yes, so now that we are back, you know, we in the studio working towards the second album. Yes, yeah.
Which would have who on it?
Yes, we'll have a lot of people, a lot of great, you know, talent that, you know, fits each song that you know, on it. So I wouldn't put the people, you know, when I tell you, okay, maybe I'm going to have Kofi Kinata or maybe I'm going to have Sarkodie on it, you'll be expecting it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be a surprise anymore.
Okay.
You understand? Yes. So I believe in surprises. So.
But you have given us two names that already we are expecting. We are going to look forward to these two names. Right? Yeah. I mean, Kofi Kinata, I think, is a fantastic artist.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah.
Okay. But where'd you hail from? Are you?
Yes, I'm a Fanti.
You're a Fanti.
Yes,
I almost guessed because your first choice was Kofi Kinata. So I was thinking it would be either, you know, Kofi Kinata or any of the other Fanti people who are doing so well right now. I think the Fanti music industry is doing good. Okay, so we want you to do a song for us before you go. But before that, we need to, you know, the song to me that you're about to perform right now is going to remind people who Kwame Zagi was. I mean, I can vouch for you, but there's only so much I can say. I literally loved your music growing up. I used to play it every time, like, well, almost every time, at least on the way to school. I listened to your music a lot. So now I want you to play something for people to know exactly what I'm talking about. You understand? But before that, I want you to also tell people how they can reach you if they want to follow Kwame Zagi and see exactly what Kwame Zagi is doing now in the industry.
Yes, I think I'm on all the social media platforms. Yes, my Facebook handle is Kwame Zagi Mr. Lover. It's spelled Q-U-A-R-M-E, and then you add the Z-A-G-G-Y. Yeah,
Q-U-A-R-M-E.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yes, and then I just released a single titled I Am Alive, and probably I'm going to do
That's what I want you to do
yes,
for us.
That's what I'm going to do. So,
okay.
Kwame Zagi, for my fans who, you know, thought, you know, I was missing in the soup, Kwame Zagi is back again.
Okay, so let's have Kwame Zagi perform.
Yes, this is I Am Alive. I saw my life, I saw my life. I saw no vision, I saw my video. You may be as you my life. You any friend sooner, that's when I am with you. It's in your be and I saw so becca. Can we so be any baby? I saw no life, I saw my life. I saw no vision, I saw my video. You may be as you my life. You any friend sooner, that's when I am with you. It's in your be and I saw so becca. Can we so be any baby? It's in my music, I'm a Jennifer. Only baby that na say what to car. And any problem. Obinya ni bibi. Obinya
nadia yasimu binyeni bibi kwa ubiye nadia amweni nadia ba aburan kwana nidia enti masam nazaya kauso binyeni bibi kwa enti mayami sikana mijimani akwamya Matoni twati na mani si odomia Oni baby de no se wa top bensa Edi any problem Obinya ni bibi ko Obinya na diye ko Yasi mo obinya ni bibi ko Obinya na diya edi When we don't suffer nobody they see If nobody want to help Enti kakra benti maya topic here Oma minni mani Oma minni mani Adaka mo yashu na unshedo Amuma mempapia no dio Enti manyami sikana mijimani.
Thank you very much. Thank you so very much, Kwame Zagi. Now that particular song, I want to have it. I want to have that particular song. I need it. I love it. So you see, I wasn't just talking. This is Kwame Zagi, and I think he's even a lot better than I remember him to be. This is just marvelous. This is just high life at its best. And Kwame, should it happen, you should perform at my wedding. I want you to. Should it happen?
I'm ready.
You should perform. Thank you very much.
Ready.
Sealed. Okay, so do stay tuned to Breakfast Daily. Remember, keep your messages coming in. We have just a few. So keep your messages coming in. Hashtag Breakfast.
My name is Joe Metal, and you're watching Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Keep watching. Don't go nowhere.
They say, why you they love them like this? Oh, I don't know. Hi, everyone. It's Miss V. Make sure you keep watching Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Don't go anywhere. Tiptoe. Swag.
Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, world. You're in tune to the Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Stoneboy says so. Keep it locked. Don't log off. Beep.
Jealousy go shame against the bad boy. Jealousy go shame. Whoa. What's up, guys? Your boy Kitty, and right now you are watching Breakfast Daily. Oh, Lord of mercy. Let's go.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. Thank you so much for spending your Wednesday morning with us.
Yes.
It's been a great show.
Yes, it's been super. It's been fantastic. You had a fantastic time with the Black Girls Glow.
Yes, we all
and I had
watch them.
A super time with Kwame Zagi.
Now I have to do a birthday shout out to Dayo Oshikoya. Happy birthday.
Hey,
our
own Dayo. You know who love him. Our own Dayo. Happy birthday.
Loves you, and I love you, and everybody here loves you.
Yes, we like you a lot for all the good things you have come to do in Ghana. You have come to mine gold. Let the gold stay in Ghana. Anyway, so happy birthday to you, Dayo. He's our friend, our what? Jivan, you should.
He's our friend. He's our friend.
Okay, also in the supplementary exam this Friday, since we are watching you live, Boama from the Ghana School of Law. Okay, so yeah, happy birthday, Nana Akusuen, to all those writing the supplementary exam because the first exam was cancelled. All the best. We wish you all the best.
And ladies, before you perform, please tell them where they can get tickets so that we can all come watch you tomorrow.
Okay. So tomorrow you'll actually be able to get the tickets right at the gate at Reggie Rockstone's office. The show starts at 6 and ends at 9 p.m.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, take it away.
For the longest time I've been trying to get back what I've given, but you see, cause of effect, I have become my own karma. This is deeper than skin deep. It's through every part of me. I'm united to the place of being, to be. Yeah. My. It's the place where me die. No longer drawn, but lies they just time you knew, yeah. My, it's my story, it's my life. And I ride it black and white 'cause it's true. Time you knew, yeah. Finally I realize that I have nothing to lose. So I'm letting go of all my inhibitions. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to fly. I will take control of all my needs. So come with me, I'll take your leave, yeah. My. It's my face when we meet that. No longer bound by lines they drew. So, take a slow-mo, we just gotta flow. Is it me, or is it her, or is it him when you look into the mirror? 'Cause if it's them, then it's definitely an error. Let's take a walk in your mind, and when it's over, I give you time. Let me move you from a dark place to a paradise.
I have reached a point in time where I have stopped being defined by we, and I have decided to be defined by me. I am me. My love to give to others and to myself. My body, my license to my body to share as I see fit. My
dark place,
my paradise. In one we are two. That's me and I together. We've pulled through so many days in different ways. I know I'm cool with who I'll be forever. No time to shine. It's gonna be me, me.
On the verge of a full-blown political crisis, Zimbabweans hold their breath as a presidential poll challenge delays the inauguration. As the war of words between U.S. President Donald Trump and former aide and reality show star Omarosa Manigault escalates, some are raising concerns about possible White House security breaches. And Uganda calls for action as violence against children reaches alarming levels. Africa 54 starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Esther Gidui. You are in for Vincent Makori. This is Africa 54. Zimbabwe is a southern African nation known for its dramatic vistas and diverse wildlife. But today, the country's political landscape is drawing worldwide attention. The landlocked nation is at a tense standstill because the presidential inauguration has been delayed due to the opposition's legal challenge to the July 30th election results. Political observers are not entirely sure what to make of this moment in Zimbabwe's history. VOA's Anita Powell reports from Johannesburg.
All this anticipation over Zimbabwe's historic elections, but still no payoff. The declared victor, incumbent Emmerson Mnangagwa, who took over from Mugabe in November, still has not been inaugurated 2 weeks after the vote. Mnangagwa waits in limbo as the opposition Movement for Democratic Change Alliance challenges his narrow 50.8% win. They say MDC presidential candidate Nelson Chamisa, who officially got 44% of the vote, was the actual winner of the poll.
He is seeking a declaration to the effect that the presidential election was not properly conducted. It was not conducted in terms of the Constitution. It was not conducted in terms of the Electoral Act. It was not conducted in terms of standards of fairness, transparency, and accountability.
Under Robert Mugabe, the outcome of every poll was predictable. Over his decades of rule, Mugabe was accused, often and credibly, of vote rigging and intimidating voters. But for the first time in decades, even analysts say they are not quite sure how this will end.
It's a very precarious, situation, sort of like hanging over a cliff. Not very dangerously, but somehow dangerously, I think, and that's because of the uncertainty surrounding what will happen once the Constitutional Court has given its verdict.
What analysts say needs to happen is unlikely. Two men from different generations, different temperaments, and different ends of the political spectrum need to come together.
Politically, it is important for whoever wins to take in or bringing the other one on board. They may not want to do it, but there has to be some form of appeasement that would appeal to the general electorate and to the voters or the public that supports the loser.
Opposition supporters protested after the poll, saying the results were taking too long. 6 protesters were shot dead by security forces. Analysts hope Zimbabwe can move forward.
I said far in advance of the November 17 coup that this would be an election that wouldn't count. 2023 would count because the younger generation, which cut their teeth in the 2000s against the regime, are now gaining maturity, having experience, and if they can maintain a hold over the MDC and perhaps other opposition parties that might emerge, we will see a much different election.
But for now, right now, that may be cold comfort for this very divided nation. Anita Powell, VOA News, Johannesburg.
The South African government is once again dealing with allegations of graft. The nation's justice minister is launching a probe into the accusations that state attorneys defrauded the government of billions of dollars by deliberately losing cases in the latest crackdown on corruption under President Cyril Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa, who replaced former President Jacob Zuma in February, has made the fight against corruption a top priority of his administration as he seeks to restore investor confidence after the scandal-plagued Zuma era. In the health ministry, one of the departments most affected by the alleged fraud, totaling $4 billion, will be investigated. Justice Minister Michael Masuta told reporters Tuesday the investigation will help the department put to rest any concerns that have been raised. Masuta says disciplinary action as well as criminal investigations will be initiated against those involved to ensure that firm action is taken against corrupt activities. An Ethiopian court has freed 11 police officers on bail after they were detained on suspicion of negligence in a grenade attack on a rally in June attended by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, according to the state-affiliated media Fana. The attack in Addis Ababa on June 23rd injured more than 150 and raised fears that a group or individual may want to use violence against Abiy, who has presided over a series of reforms and reconciled with longtime enemy and neighbor Eritrea since taking power in April. Among those freed on bail is the former Deputy Commissioner of Addis Ababa Police Commission, Girmakasa. None of the police have been charged. Earlier this month, Ethiopian federal prosecutors said they had charged 5 suspects with involvement in the incident, including a man released from a prison under a government amnesty. Ugandan police have arrested 3 opposition lawmakers and scores of others after stones were thrown at a convoy of President Yoweri Museveni. Police spokesman Imirian Kayima says supporters of independent candidate Kassiano Wadri obstructed and attacked Museveni's convoy in the northern town of Arua late Monday, and one vehicle bearing the presidential coat of arms had its rear windscreen shattered. Among those arrested were two journalists and a lawmaker, Robert Changulanyi, known in the music world as Bobby Wine. Changulanyi says police shot at his vehicle and killed his driver during campaigning for a parliamentary by-election due to be held on Wednesday. Last year, Parliament removed an age limit from the Constitution that would have barred Museveni, 73, from seeking re-election in 2021. Now to a story that is garnering worldwide attention. Once again, the President of the United States is embroiled in a scandal. This time, it's with his former aide and reality show star Omarosa Manigault Newman, who is going public with recordings of conversations she had with Donald Trump and his chief of staff. Manigault Newman says she secretly recorded the audio, raising questions about possible security breaches at the White House. VOA's Patsy Widakuswara has the latest.
Omarosa Manigault Newman is among a handful of longtime Trump associates who went to work for him at the White House when he took office. She had known Trump for over a decade, appearing on his reality TV show The Apprentice. But in an interview with NBC's The Today Show, she says now all bets are off about her firing in December and time at the White House.
There's a lot of very corrupt things that are happening in the White House, and I am going to blow the whistle on a lot of it.
For a second straight day, the former Trump aide known as Omarosa revealed secret audio recordings she made at the White House. On Sunday, she released a recording of White House Chief of Staff John Kelly firing her in the Situation Room. On Monday, she made public another recording, claiming it proved Trump wasn't aware of her dismissal.
No, you know, they run a big operation, but I didn't know it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Damn it. I don't love you leaving at all.
The White House Situation Room is reserved for the nation's most sensitive and critical national security discussions. Aides attending meetings there are typically asked to set aside electronic devices before entering. Security analysts have raised alarm about a covert recording in such a secret room. In a statement, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said the recording was a blatant disregard for national security and denounced Omarosa as a disgruntled former employee lacking in character and integrity. Omarosa defended her action in an interview with NBC's Meet the Press.
I protected myself because this is a White House where everybody lies. The president lies to the American people. Sarah Huckabee stands in front of the country and lies every single day. You have to have your own back, because otherwise you'll look back and you'll see 17 knives in your back.
Manigault Newman is promoting her new book, Unhinged, one highly critical of Trump and his White House. In her book, she claimed she was offered a $15,000 a month retainer to not criticize Trump. Trump's comment on Omarosa's book?
Lowlife. She's a lowlife.
Trump also attacked her on Twitter Monday morning, calling her wacky and vicious. Patsy Widakuswara, VOA News at the White House.
Police in London say a man deliberately crashed a car into a group of pedestrians and cyclists before slamming into a set of barriers outside of Britain's Houses of Parliament on Tuesday, causing a number of injuries. Parliament was of the car, a man in his late 20s, at the scene on suspicion of terrorist offenses. They said there were no other people in the car and that they did not find any weapons. Assistant Police Commissioner Neil Basu says they are treating the incident as an act of terrorism. He also said there is no intelligence of further danger to Londoners or the rest of Britain. Investigators are now working to establish the identity of the suspect and his motives. According to Basu, the suspect is not cooperating with police. Now to the deadly bridge collapse in Italy. Authorities say at least 11 people died after a bridge carrying 10 vehicles collapsed Tuesday during an intense storm in the northern port city of Genoa. Video taken by motorists from the adjacent roadway shows a section of the bridge falling as onlookers cry out. Transport Minister Danilo Toninelli says he is following with great apprehension what seems like an immense tragedy. A fire service spokesperson told the French news agency AFP that the bridge had mostly fallen on rail tracks 100 meters below and that cars and trucks had fallen with the rubble. Answer News Agency reported that authorities suspect structural weakness caused the collapse of the bridge, which was built in the 1960s and underwent renovation in 2016. We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. We're also streaming our show live on Facebook, so check us out and share our show with your friends. Still ahead on Africa 54, alarming findings from Uganda's violence against children report. But first, a look at Tuesday's headlines. And it's time now for our health report, and joining us now is Africa 54 health correspondent Lino Mudu with new information on violence against children. Lino?
That's right, Esther. But first, we start in West Africa and Mali, where villages in the Mondoro area of the Mopti region are battling a mysterious disease that is proving to be deadly. Inhabitants who have contracted the illness are isolated in a small area without access to adequate medical attention, causing an environment highly susceptible to the spread of disease. According to Doctors Without Borders and local health authorities, over 200 cases have been identified in the villages of Duna, Tigila, and Nyagasadu. Efforts are now underway to provide services and contain the disease. Joining us in the studio now is VOA Bambara reporter Modibo Dambele. Modibo, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you very much.
So we seem to know a little more about this disease, this outbreak. Tell us, what are authorities saying?
I got a chance to interview the health official of Mondoro. Okay. Exactly, is based in Douanza. His name is Dr. Seydou Kante. According to him, insecurity and landmines are the main reason why the government was not able to provide food in those areas. And as a consequence, it caused a food shortage. Then people were not able to feed themselves properly. And beside this, the insecurity plus the ethnic violence between people who used to live together for many, many years, Fulani, Dogon, Bozo, and therefore it causes a lot of issues.
Okay, so basically, if I understand correctly, they are talking about malnutrition?
Yes, malnutrition. When people say that it is a mysterious disease, yes, according to Dr. Kante that I talked to him just 3 days ago, we cannot really say, according to local officials, especially the health official, it is caused by malnutrition.
So that's what they are saying for now. Nothing else has been identified.
Nothing else, because they went in Mondoro, I think it was last Sunday, if I remember. I don't remember exactly the day. And it was part of the delegation that went to see those areas affected. And we had some people from Mali Health Ministry and also the World Health Organization, some people, and it was part of the delegation. I think a report even has been issued. And according to him, as of now, 204 people have been affected. Okay. And they reported also 35 people dead. Yeah. And also 53 people has been hospitalized. But saying that we have some kind of mysterious disease, okay, according to him, that's not accurate.
All right, so leaning toward malnutrition. So as you said, you spoke to the chief of the district health unit, and you also spoke to the mayor. What are they telling you in terms of the steps that are being taken to tackle this?
Right now, the government is really doing what he can with his partner, local and international partner. And according to him, since Mondoro is located in Mopti, and everybody knows right now in Mali they are battling against a huge insecurity because of those terrorist threats. So they are using the airways, especially using helicopter to provide food. And that has been confirmed by the mayor of Mondoro. His name is El Haj. He said as of now, the day I talked to him, the first provision for food came, and they were expecting to get another one in the upcoming days. And also, Mali is trying to see with his international partner how they can also restore, the roads, because Mopti being located between the north and the south, so it's kind of difficult.
It's landlocked.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's kind of difficult to really provide only food by air.
Okay. Well, Modibo, thank you so much for the report, and we'll definitely keep an eye on it. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
And that was Modibo Dambele. He's a VOA Bambara reporter. We remain in West Africa, where women in rural Nigeria are battling with a medical condition that causes incontinence. For 4 years, Nigerian Mariam Saraki has been unable to hold back urine after a complicated labor led to a fistula. Feeling ashamed and isolated, the medical issue has cost her a husband and a community.
Sincerely, I cannot sit amongst other people because of the stigma associated with the smell. I have been suffering from this condition for 3 years. I am always bathing and washing myself to stop the smell. A lot of women suffer from this ailment. They just sit and leak.
Fistula is a hole between the birth canal and the bladder or rectum. Saraki developed the disease after spending 4 days in labor trying to deliver her second child. The condition causes urinal and fecal incontinence. Although fistula has long been eradicated in developed countries, it still affects around 2 million women worldwide, mostly in Africa. The United Nations Population Fund is running a 2-week campaign in the northeastern Nigerian city of Maiduguri, aiming to put an end to fistula. Surgeons have arrived from France to help the Nigerian counterparts with the procedures. Working with the Nigeria Fistula Foundation, doctors are screening women and have operated on 51 of the 154 patients who registered to be treated. Sunday Ilengmang is among the team of visiting surgeons.
Over 98% of the cases that we saw were as a result of prolonged obstructed labor. So the prevention has to do also with the things that lead to prolonged obstructed labor. First, we need to catch them young, because when girls get pregnant before the age of 18, whether in marriage or out of marriage, there is the increased tendency that they could have prolonged obstructed labor.
19-year-old Rukaya Abubakar has had fistula for 3 years. She got married at 16 and had 2 stillbirths due to prolonged labor. She was able to receive much-needed treatment during the medical camp.
By the special grace of Allah, it is His will. This sickness came and has also gone. It is His will that it has gone permanently. I am grateful to Allah.
We're working at the community level by working with members of the community, by training community mobilizers to mobilize the community, capable of educating women to understand the importance of birth preparedness, understand the importance of hospital delivery, and also educate men to support their wives during pregnancy and childbirth.
The UN Population Fund team is expected to return in the near future as they look to cut fistula cases in Nigeria. Now to Uganda, where a recently released report reveals that 3 in 4 young adults experience some form of violence during their childhood, according to the first ever Uganda Violence Against Children survey. Among the findings, the survey highlights that violence against children occurs at all levels of society, such as homes, schools, and communities. Survivors suffer negative physical, mental, social, and cognitive consequences. Uganda is the latest among several countries worldwide that have conducted similar violence against children surveys. The Ugandan survey was conducted by its Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development with support from partners such as AfriChild Center for Excellence, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and UNICEF. And that's our health report for today. To stay in touch, find me on Twitter @LenorMoudou. Esther, back to you.
Thanks, Lino. Be sure to watch Lino Moudou's health reports every Tuesday and Thursday on Africa 54. And welcome back to Africa 54. Here's what's trending. The world's first commercially available 3D printed concrete housing is being built in the Netherlands. The consortium building the houses previously created the world's first 3D printed concrete bridge for cyclists in the village of Gemet. The team starts with a digital 3 model which is sent through to the 3D printer and printed from bottom to top, layer by layer, without any temporary support or form work until the object is complete. The technique is said to be more environmentally friendly than the traditional concrete construction methods because almost all construction-related waste is eliminated. Next up, charcoal is becoming the new black as it gains traction as a food additive, often made from burning coconut shells or bamboo. Adding activated charcoal powder to foods has captured the attention of social media. Charcoal doesn't seem to change the taste of food, but it can affect the texture. But is eating charcoal safe? Doctors do prescribe activated charcoal to treat poisoning and overdoses, but they say eating too much on your own can cause severe constipation and other health problems. And finally, they tried the 3D glasses, they tried wobbling chairs and spouts of water. Cinema's latest effort to tempt audiences from their sofas is a multi-projector panoramic experience called ScreenX. UK-based Cinema World Group has announced plans to install the new screen tech across 100 theaters in Britain, the US, and further afield. It's more sustainable for fast-moving action movies rather than romantic comedies. One challenge may be the lack of content. Film crews must use special camera setups to capture the wide-angle footage required for ScreenX presentations. And that's what's trending today. Now, one of the oldest zoos in the U.S., the Chicago Lincoln Park Zoo, is celebrating a big milestone, its 150th anniversary. The zoo opened in 1868 with just 2 pairs of swans. The zoo has a considerably larger collection today, but its priorities have not changed that much. As Roman Vakovsky reports, the zoo remains focused on conservation, preserving rare species, organizing educational programs, and setting an example for future generations of animal lovers.
The history of Chicago's Lincoln Park Zoo started 150 years ago with a gracious gift from New York City officials.
When the commissioners of the Board of Public Works of the City of Chicago received a gift of 2 pairs of swans from the commissioners of Central Park in New York City. The gift was actually arranged by 2 brothers, a man named Andrew Green, who is quite famous for starting a lot of the famous cultural institutions in New York City, and his brother, who is working for the Illinois-Michigan Canal.
The swans appear to have brought the zoo good luck. Today, their descendants still float gracefully in the zoo's pond, but there's a lot more to see. Spread across 5 square kilometers, the Lincoln Park Zoo boasts a spacious pool for sea lions, big pavilions for predators, and giant spaces for herbivores. With more than 200 different species of animals on display, it's a popular attraction that draws about 3 million visitors each year.
Hi, yeah, I do visit the zoo often. We live in Chicago, and I wasn't aware that it was the anniversary, so that's fantastic.
But with the Earth's climate changing and the loss of natural habitats, many of the animal species on display are fighting for their survival.
This species of penguins, African penguins, are endangered in the wild, and we're part of a species survival plan working with other zoos to support the population. And so that's really good news here when we had that chick born. He's about 4 months now, and he's already almost as big as his parents.
A lot of people believe penguins only live in the icy Antarctic, but these little ones come from South Africa. Chicago's climate is very similar to where they come from, so the birds feel right at home with the windy city's snowy winters and warm summers.
But I think this is one of the best enclosures for penguins I've seen yet.
So the zoo has always been free since it was started as a civic park. The question came up early in the zoo's history, sometime in the 1870s, of whether we should start charging for some buildings to sort of maintain and pay for the animals' upkeep. The commissioners in the 1870s decided no, it would always remain free.
A lot has changed at Lincoln Park Zoo over the last century and a half, but some things remain the same. For visitors and animal researchers, it's a place to appreciate nature and cherish the wildlife that live among us. For Aman Verkhovsky in Chicago, I'm Anna Rice, VOA News.
And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. For more news, tune into VOA's evening radio show, Africa News Tonight, at 1800 UTC, and in the mornings to Daybreak Africa between 0300 and 0600, Monday through Friday. Thanks for watching, and good night from Washington.
Welcome to English in a Minute. When you slip, you fall down. But how does something slip from your mind?
Slip one's mind.
Let's listen to Anna and Jonathan.
Look at this beautiful cake I made for the dinner party.
Oh no, is that tonight?
Yes? Didn't you make something?
No, it totally slipped.
Hello and welcome to 2020 News on Citi TV. I am Zoe Abubedu. Coming up, Gender Ministry indicted for the non-payment of withholding taxes to the Ghana Revenue Authority to the tune of 6.7 million cedis, and Northern Regional Security Council assures nurses of the Tamale Teaching Hospital of their safety following their strike over recent happenings there. Details now. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection has been indicted for the non-payment of withholding taxes to the Ghana Revenue Authority to the tune of 6.7 million cedis. The amount was not paid to the GRA as expected following the release of funds from the Finance Ministry to be paid to caterers of the Ghana School Feeding Program between July and December 2015. Appearing before the Public Accounts Committee, Acting Chief Director of the Gender Ministry, Alfred Obeng, indicated that the withholding tax was not paid because the Finance Ministry released only a portion sufficient to pay the caterers.
You see, the money is released in tranches. We apply for an amount to pay, let's say, a term's amount used on the feeding of the children. Ministry of Finance gave us only the net amount, and therefore we have to pay that amount, expecting the second tranche to come for the payment of the GRA monies. And unfortunately, that never came. Yes, you may ask, what are future periods? We entered subsequent years, but it is always dangerous to just pick money from a future date to go and defray a previous, because we always communicate to Ministry of Finance and we always abide by what they directed us to do.
Managing Director of Waste Management Company Jacora Ventures, Emmanuel Nate Tokoli, has called for a national attitudinal change towards waste separation in the country. According to him, the practice would have immense economic benefits, thus the need for governments to devote its attention to it. He spoke to Citi News during an Accra sanitation trip with a delegation from Malawi's Blantyre City Council.
But it has been quite difficult because you need an attitudinal shift to get people to understand that there is the need to separate the waste. But we have got a system that works well because we motivate. Now, the composition of waste generated generally, 60% is biodegradable organic, 17% is plastics, and then 8% paper. You combine all, it's 82%. So if we are even able to divert 10% of that 82%, we are on the right path to creating circular economies, creating employment, solving social problems, solving environmental problems, solving problems related to climate change. That is the best way, and that is where I think government policy should be skewed towards.
A downpour that hit some parts of the Upper West region has cut off dozens of communities in the regional capital, while now the heavy rainfall broke down bridges on major roads in the northeastern part of the region, rendering commuters stranded. The MCE for Jirapa, one of the hardest hit districts, and some officials of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, have been visiting some of the affected roads. My colleague Latif Mahama in the Upper West region has details of the story.
The rainy season has further worsened most of the already deplorable roads, especially those in the northeastern part of the region. The Wa Heng and the Jirapa Ulo Heng roads are completely cut off. The Jirapa Municipal Chief Executive, Christine Bomanya Amadou, together with officials of the National Disaster Management Organization, visited to ascertain.
Cross. So it means commercial activities have become halted. If you also look at it, some other people from Chapuru and Heng, they are farming around across the other side. And so they cannot cross, they can't go to their farms.
The Upper West Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, Isaac Seidu, blamed the situation on shoddy work and poor maintenance culture.
I'm not an engineer, but you seen it yourself. You will definitely say that it's a shoddy job that the contractor has done. It's really bad. You can't imagine someone doing such a project without considering bridges. They are not culverts. Even the old ones have been blocked off. You can see all the culverts have been blocked. So it's surprising that an engineer, or I definitely will have to give the blame to the engineers, those people supervising the road, not only the contractors.
These shortcomings have impacted negatively on agricultural production, as farmers are unable to cut their farm produce from the hinterlands to market centers.
A lot of people cannot go to the farm. A lot of food stores have been damaged here. People even fell into the house cannot go to the farm. So it caused a lot of problems to this community.
President Nanado, in his last visit to the Upper West region, pledged to act with speed to act on these roads. Will his pledge see the light of the day, or it will add up to that of succeeding governments who failed in their promises? Reporting for Citi TV, Latif Mahama. Wa.
Let's move to the Northern Region now, where the Northern Regional Security Council has assured nurses and staff of the Tamale Teaching Hospital of their safety following their declared industrial action over security concerns within the facility. The nurses are currently on a strike following the forceful removal of the hospital's CEO, Dr. David Kobila, by some NPP-affiliated youth groups in the Northern Region. The nurses say they no longer feel safe, but in an interview with Citi News, the Northern Regional Minister, Salifo Said, said plans to build a permanent police post is fast in progress to stop such lawless acts from occurring.
President Nana Akufo-Addo has made it very clear on several platforms that he happens to be addressing the nation, addressing communities or platforms, that no group either individual or group of persons should act in a manner that it will go against the laws of this country, be it party people or non-party people. So this action that took place yesterday, government doesn't associate itself with it. The MPP as a party in Northern Region doesn't associate itself with it. And then also the Regional Security Council and the security members, together with the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly, East Musek, we have teamed up to see how we will activate the investigative machinery to identify the perpetrators of the act so that the law will deal with them decisively. But first of all, I also want to thank the hospital, that is the Tamale Teaching Hospital, doctors and nurses and all the workers for maintaining their composure yesterday when the incident happened, and they stayed back to attend to patients. And we want to thank them for demonstrating that high level of commitment to serving humanity. Apart from that, we have come here as a joint security committees, that is the Metropolitan Security Committee as well as the Regional Security Council, to reassure the working staff, from the doctors to nurses to cleaners, everybody in the hospital, that they should go about their normal duties. The security will maintain 24/7 security surveillance, constant one, to ensure that no person comes in to do anything to affect the work of the hospital.
The Inspector General of Police, David Asante Apetu, has announced a partnership between the police and the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, to clamp down on drivers who use car sirens unlawfully. The police has been widely criticized for their inability to arrest drivers who misuse sirens on the roads, especially in the cities. But the IGP says the initiative this time round would yield results.
The Inspector General of Police noted that the latest move was necessitated by the chaos these defiant road users cause. David Asante Apetu, who was speaking at a joint press conference organized by the two bodies, also admonished the public to report such incidents for immediate arrest.
The Police MTTD, in collaboration with the Enforcement and Compliance Unit of the DVLA, have been empowered to either impound or arrest any driver or vehicle during these routine road checks. This directive is effective immediately. Statistics available indicate that we are losing over 500 lives every quarter through road traffic crashes. The DVLA is improving on its vehicle roadworthiness checks and driver licensing regime to ensure that only those qualified to drive are issued driver's license, and only those vehicles which pass roadworthy tests are permitted to operate on our roads.
You're still watching 2020 News on Citi TV. Still to come, research shows that the global makeup industry grew by an estimated 8% in 2016. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guest, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
I said, property tax, I will pay. If you come to my house, I'll cut you a check. But when did I do my presentation? February?
Yes.
Or February, yes, sometime. Nobody has come to my house.
Really?
Ghana is broke. And, you know, that's the reality we must all come to live with.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on Citi TV.
Hello and welcome to another day, another week, and of course another episode of 30 Minutes. We're excited and we will be talking about all the trending conversations.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Shatta, why are you being so raw and hard like that? But
at the particular time, that's what I wanted to do it. But that doesn't mean you are my enemy.
Sure.
We can still meet again and Shatta, this time we are about to do, don't come and do that nonsense. Okay, please, I won't do it. And we'll give respect to each other. But sometimes I feel, when we are all humans. When somebody says something about me, Shatta, hey, no, I might want to say something.
Yeah.
So, but when I say it, people shouldn't take it like taking things, personal and stuff. I've understood showbiz now, and I really want to work on it.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on Citi TV.
You're welcome back. This is 2020 News on Citi TV. Up next is the business news.
Hello, you're welcome to the business segment on 2020 News. Let's take our first story now. Now, figures published by research firms in the makeup industry have shown that as of 2016, the global makeup industry grew by an estimated 8%. Now, this translates into millions of dollars for players in the sector. In recent times, the makeup industry in Ghana has grown significantly and has proven to be a good business venture. So what is the current state of Ghana's makeup industry? My colleague Anita Arthur has been finding out in the following report.
Some years ago, the makeup industry in Ghana was nothing to write home about. But today, makeup can be considered as a topmost priority for most women in all walks of life. The industry is fast growing and has become a major avenue of job creation. But what are the challenges, and how are players in the industry coping? Ima Yankee is a beauty therapist at Second Image Hair and Beauty Therapy, and she shares her experience of being in the makeup industry for the past 5 years with me.
5 years back, it wasn't that lucrative because a lot of people weren't too much enlightened with makeup. But now everybody has become enlightened. Even students in JHS, SHS, university are more into makeup now. They want to learn makeup as a personal career and even use it on themselves. So it has become like a lucrative business.
At Body Basics in Accra Mall, I meet Belinda, who, after showing me a wide range of products on the shelves of her shop, tells me that demand for makeup services and products has shot up significantly over the past 2 years.
When we started, it wasn't booming like it is now. People have come to understand that they need to enhance their beauty, especially ladies, okay? So they come in for their foundations, their lipsticks, their bronzers, their highlighters. So far, so good.
But just how much do ladies love makeup? And how much are they willing to spend on it?
Basically, I do wear makeups when I'm going out, maybe parties, wedding, church. Actually, sometimes I say 100 cedi, 200 for makeups.
Yeah, I used to spend 500.
Makela Adomako is the CEO of Domicile of Arts and one of many entrepreneurs who not only offers makeup services but makeup classes as well.
The makeup industry is quite competitive now. It's also an avenue to learn new things every day, especially when you go online. So even though it's competitive, you learn a lot online, because right now there are a lot of people who do makeup out there. So it actually keeps you on your feet. You want to learn new things so that you also be up to your game.
So a normal look like this will cost between 150 to 300 Ghana cedis, whilst a bridal look will cost you between 500 to 1,000 Ghana cedis, and a simple walk-in look will cost you between 100 to 200 Ghana cedis. From the home studio of Domicile of Arts in Roman Ridge, I am Anita Arthur reporting for Citi News.
Well, that's it for Business. Sport is up next.
Now, thanks for joining us on the sports segment on 2020 News. My name is Daniel Kranting, and Ghanaian sprinter Janet Amponsa has been selected to represent Africa at this year's IAF Intercontinental Cup in Ostrava in the Czech Republic. Now, Janet will compete in the women's 104x1 event at the championship slated for next month, which will also see Ivorian Marie-Jose Talu and Nigerian sprinter Blessing Okambari run for the continent. Now, she was selected as part of Team Africa after winning a silver medal and a bronze in the women's 100 and 200-meter events at the just-ended Africa Athletics Championships in Asaba, and she could not hide her excitement after receiving the news.
I can remember 2015, I was dreaming for it and I couldn't make it. I was injured. I was really in good shape, but I couldn't make it. So I'm really, really proud that this year, by God's grace, I was able to make it.
Now, Dan Kwekuye, was spokesperson for the FIFA and CAF liaison team in charge of international football, has explained that the appointment of Ebusua Dwarfs head coach Bashir Hayford as a coach of the Black Queens was on the recommendation of Mercy Tego Kwaku, the then acting head coach of the team. Now, Coach Bash was seen leading training at the team's Prampram training base, prompting questions he had been imposed on Mercy Tego, who led the team to victory in an invitational tournament in Cote d'Ivoire earlier this year, and had talked of her permanent desire to stay as the head coach of the team. But Dan Kwekuye says those assertions are untrue. And that's all for sports on 2020 News. My name is Daniel Kranting.
And that's it for 2020 News on Citi TV. All the news in 20 minutes. A recap of our headlines. Now, Gender Ministry indicted for the non-payment of withholding taxes to the Ghana Revenue Authority to the tune of 6.7 million cedis, and the Northern Regional Security Council assures nurses of the Tamale Teaching Hospital of their safety following their declared strike over recent happenings there. For more news, please log on to citinewsroom.com. My name is Zoe Abubedu. Thanks for watching.
At 715/2006 stipulates that all public places must be made accessible for people with disability. But this is not the situation in Sunyani, as new buildings being put up does not comply to this law. This is News Connect on CCTV. I am Michael Saponinfum.
Accessibility in Ghana is a very big worry to me, and it shouldn't be me personally. It should be a general thing, because I'll give a little advice to the whole Ghana people who are able. I quite remember we met a man who said he always carry himself 50% disabled and 50% able, because day in day out we are traveling. You don't know what will happen. You feel yourself like you are able today, but you might have an accident.
Most of the new buildings in Ghana are not accessible to persons with disability. For the old ones, they've given them up to 10 years, and now even the 10 years have elapsed. There's nothing going on showing that they are trying to make it accessible. But what about the new ones they are putting up? We are pleading with the government and then our brothers and sisters who are non-government agency. It's one or two things that made us disabled. So please, they should rethink about our welfare. Making the building accessible to us will not only benefit us. Some of them will sooner or later become aged, and then when they grow old, disability will set in. So the same building they are putting up that are not accessible to us may not be accessible to them tomorrow. So please, when they come, they should look at our welfare and then look at persons with disability, not only those of us who are suffering, it can be any of them at any time.
It's a serious issue. And anytime when we go to them and talk about it, they will say, oh, we will do something about it. Especially, we have a issue that Chinyamamfo Senior had, there is a new building there. Some of our members went there when they started it, and they spoke about it, but up to now, they didn't do anything about it. We are appealing to them to help us to make it accessible for us to access the building, because we are all Ghanaians, and there is no way that we can access the building. But look at here, we are coming to meet the MCE, but because we can access the building, we are waiting for him where at the I don't know, at the reception. Yeah, we are waiting for her at the reception. So it's our problem. We are appealing for them to make every public building accessible. Where there is a zebra crossing, the crossing leads to the flower bed. Where there is a double road and there is a zebra crossing, it leads to the flower bed. It seems every part in the Ghana, the zebra crossing lead to the flower bed. So if you are using the wheelchair to cross the road, you find it difficult to cross through the zebra crossing. And we find it difficult too. That one too is a challenge.
Accessibility issue has been one of the biggest issues for disabled people or PWD in a Brown and Afro region as a whole. The reason being the law has been passed. For the old building, we know that it has been there for some ages. But our worry now is the new one that has been constructed currently. It's not accessible at all, especially the schools, the public places that everybody who is a member or is born in the region need to have access to. We are not having that opportunity to the public places like churches. Even churches, it's so annoying that even some of the churches that sometimes you go there, there's so many steps. But as we all know, it's supposed to be open to everybody to have his free will to worship. So accessibility has always been the biggest issue, and then we are appealing to the government on power, the MCEs, the DCEs, and the regional ministers, and all the DC, the kings and the queens, the decision makers that are also, and the contractors also who are being given this contract to control these roads, these buildings, these schools, and all those. They also need to also have interest in mind that, okay, all that we are doing, are we captured everybody? Are we captured the PWDs? Are we captured the disabled people also that are also part of the region, part of the municipal? Because if you go to the Sunyani municipal, some of the public places, you can't have access there. The bigger, the ticket car point is there. Sometimes the municipality assembly itself that it's not accessible, but you know it's an old building. We're part of them, but there's so new ones that are going on that we are appealing to the public that they should make it accessible to us, for all of us to access, being school, being hospitals, being the chief palace, being the public places that people comes and entertain themselves. It should be open to all of us. Then we know that the equal cake, the cake is for everybody, and they need to share it equally for everybody to have his part of the cake, being the national cake.
We are pleading with the authorities. We are not fighting with them. We are pleading with the authority that they should look at the things and make sure that the right thing is done for the welfare of all Ghanaians.
Of late, the buildings that are being raised, we are still having problem with accessibility, because talking of the act that was passed, that all buildings, public buildings, should at least be accessible to people living with disabilities. But it seems it's still ongoing. I've been to certain public places that it's a worry that you see that people living with disability cannot be able to access those areas. In fact, it's baffling. But it seems government needs to do something about it, and institutions too must work on these things.
With supervision, the assemblies are supposed to do this.
Yeah.
And they are not doing it. Any appeal?
Yeah, our appeal to the various assemblies with technicians who has been put in charge to supervise these buildings to at least help us a bit, because it seems the work is there, but it seems some of them are idle. So at least they should please speed up with their efforts in making our buildings accessible to people living with disability.
As for me, I might say I'm a bit lucky because I have crouches. I can climb a bit of steps. But what about our brothers and sisters who use wheelchairs and stuffs? So we should consider people with disability because we are all part of the nation. Because like now you might feel like you are able. Maybe what's in me is not in you. So anytime our leaders are doing something, they should consider us the people with disability.
Today, no cramp, Mukasa Mutimi, accessibility no cramp, beating for disabled ramp, and beating ye. No new building, that's almost seasonal. As a buying a shakity, do say you're dying, if you down cramp, dear. But as a banner shakity, say, it's a mutimia there, ye accessibility for disabled, for ramp. No. Osha Edisons are golden price a year, bang year, white man, Madicani, Mabe Condada, but a moon person bedding. In a commercial bank, so my name, brother, was between near your mom, yeah. I'm a see and a honor, the owner, I'm so able for far ramp and also down steps in us. Into 10% come here, the uncle, man, secretary, if you know with you, say yes, so down, say, I sorry, then a woman says, so she, we gen any more as of Bubuno, no more than I'm here for disabled ramp. I know I'm here, dear boy.
The various district and municipal assemblies in the Brown Afro region must ensure that people adhere to Act 715/2006 to make public places accessible for people living with disability. This has been another edition of News Connect on CCTV. I am Michael Saponifum. Let's connect another time.
Hello and welcome to 2020 News here on Citi TV. My name is Apna Owusunyamiche. Coming up, Ghana Police Service to partner with DVLA to clamp down on drivers who unlawfully use sirens. And University of Ghana debunks claims that a London arbitrator awarded 160 million judgment debt against it in a matter between the university and London-based construction company CPA Integras. The details of the stories now. The Inspector General of Police, David Asante Aye, has announced a partnership between the police and the Driver Vehicle Licensing Authority to clamp down on drivers who use car sirens unlawfully. The police has been widely criticized for their inability to arrest drivers who misuse sirens on the roads, especially in the cities. But the IGP says the initiative this time around would yield results.
The Inspector General of Police noted that the latest move was necessitated by the chaos these defiant road users cause. David Asante Aye, who was speaking at a joint press conference organized by the two bodies, also admonished the public to report such incidents for immediate arrest.
The Police MTTD, in collaboration with the Enforcement and Compliance Unit of the DVLA, have been empowered to either impound or arrest any driver or vehicle during this routine road checks. This directive is effective immediately. Statistics available indicate that we are losing over 500 lives every quarter through road traffic crashes. The DVLA is improving on its vehicle roadworthiness checks and driver licensing regime to ensure that only those qualified to drive are issued driver's license, and only those vehicles which pass road-ready tests are permitted to operate on our roads. The Police MTTD will complement this effort by increasing roadside checks and ensuring that recklessness and lack of adherence to posted speed limits and other regulations become a thing of the past.
The CEO of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, Mr. Kwesi Ajman, also indicated that the DVLA will collaborate with the police to ensure that the unlawful usage of sarin is eliminated from the system.
The real question is about those who mount fog lights on the tracks and so forth, and they turn the roadways into their own homes. That is illegal. That is prohibited. When they come to us for renewal or registration, those things will come off and the law will be applied.
Still with the police, the Accra Regional Command says it